When it comes to betting on the total in an NFL game, most people would prefer to be on the over. We want to see lots of points with both teams scoring at will and the defensive coordinators pulling out their hair. Big plays are exciting, and when both teams are scoring, the game is much more enjoyable to watch. Though the majority of fans would love it if every game went over the total, the reality is it's much more profitable to bet the under. Since 1979, only 6 seasons have surpassed a 52.4 winning percentage needed to be profitable with the standard -110 line. Of the 6 profitable seasons, 2010 was the best season to back the over exclusively with a 55.4 winning percentage. It was also the year that 2 teams each had 2 of the best over seasons in NFL history. The best formula for a good over team is not just one with a high-scoring offense, but also a defense that gives up lots of points. Each NFL team has had a season where they had a winning over record. A few teams have had over seasons that would make bettors happy with their historic results. So which teams have had the best over seasons in NFL history? Here is a look at 5 of the best over seasons NFL teams have had and the results each team achieved. The year 2000 would be the final season at Mile High Stadium for the Denver Broncos, and the team would post an 11-5 straight-up record, making the playoffs as a wild card. A big part of their success was their offense, ranking second in the league with a 30 points per game average and helping them go 13-3 to the over. Quarterback Brian Griese would start the first 10 games, throwing for 19 touchdowns. Gus Frerotte would replace Griese and would have a combined 10 touchdowns on the season. Star running back Terrell Davis would be lost early in the year, but rookie running back Mike Anderson would be a suitable replacement. The first year back would start 12 games, rushing for 1,487 yards and 15 touchdowns. Anderson would be recognized for his play, winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Wide receiver Rod Smith would make the Pro Bowl with 1,600 yards receiving and 8 touchdowns, helping the Broncos offense. With the Denver defense giving up 23 points per game, the 2000 Broncos had an 81.3 winning percentage to the over. In the 13 games that went over the total, the average margin was 13 points. In 4 of the games, the combined score exceeded 60 points. The high-scoring Denver Broncos would meet their match in the wild-card round of the playoffs. The eventual Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens, led by Ray Lewis and their historic defense, would end the Broncos' season, holding them to 3 points. 2001 would be the final season for the Indianapolis Colts as members of the AFC East Division. It would not be a season to remember as Indy would post a 6-10 straight-up record. The offense would rank second in the league in scoring with an average of 26 points per game. Peyton Manning would start at quarterback in all 16 games and have 26 touchdowns to 23 interceptions. The Colts had the trio of Edgerrin James, Reggie Wayne, and Pro Bowler Marvin Harrison contributing to their offensive scoring. It was head coach Jim Mora's defense that just couldn't hold a lead, ranking 31st in the NFL, surrendering 30 points per game. The combination would help the Colts post a 13-3 record to the over. Indy would start the season 4-3 before going on a 5-game losing streak and would lose 7 of their final 9 games. This tumultuous season has been immortalized in Jim Mora's rant after their Week 10 loss.
Give it away by doing that. We gave them the friggin' game. In my opinion, that sucked. What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
The disappointing season would lead to the firing of head coach Jim Mora and the hiring of Tony Dungy. The Colts would go on to make the playoffs in each of the next 9 seasons and would win the Super Bowl in 2006. Entering the 2010 season, the Dallas Cowboys were considered a Super Bowl contender with 10-1 odds to win the championship. The Cowboys would instead finish the year 6-10 straight up. Dallas would start off the year 1-7, costing head coach Wade Phillips his job. A big part of the decline of America's team was the defense, which ranked 31st in points per game allowed at 27 a game. The defensive unit would surrender 30 or more points in 8 games. The offense for the Cowboys would do their best to help go over the total, ranking 7th in the league at 25 points per game. Quarterbacks John Kitna and Tony Romo would combine for 27 touchdowns on the year. Wide receiver Miles Turner and tight end Jason Witten would both be named to the Pro Bowl. With the offense scoring points and the defense surrendering them, the bookmakers didn't set the totals high enough, leading to a 13-3 record to the over. Part of the reason the totals were not higher was Dallas had ranked second in the NFL at 15.6 points per game allowed the previous season. Interim head coach Jason Garrett would replace Phillips and lead the Cowboys to 5 of their 6 victories. Garrett would be named head coach to start the following season. The 2010 New England Patriots were a juggernaut, finishing the season with a 14-2 straight-up record and leading the league in scoring at 32 points per game. The Patriots scored 518 points in 2010, contributing to their 13-3 record to the over. The New England offense was led by quarterback Tom Brady, who would win the NFL MVP unanimously after recording an NFL record 9-1 touchdown to interception ratio. The Patriots offense would have an NFL record low 10 turnovers on the season, including 7 consecutive games without one. The rookie duo of tight ends Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez would also add to the offensive scoring with a combined 16 touchdowns. The Patriots defense was pretty good and only allowed 20 points per game, good for 8th in the league. Even with the defense holding 4 of their final 5 opponents to 7 or fewer points, the Pats still went 4-1 to the over. New England would meet the New York Jets in the divisional round of the playoffs. The Jets, who gave the Patriots one of their 2 regular season losses in Week 2, would pull off the upset in Foxborough. New York would hold the high-scoring Patriots to its lowest points total in 11 games, defeating New England 28-21. In 2016, the Atlanta Falcons would orchestrate the best over season in NFL history. With the offense led by quarterback Matt Ryan and offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan, they would lead the league with an amazing 34 points per game average. The Falcons were loaded at the offensive skill positions, starting with wide receiver Julio Jones and running back Devontae Freeman, who would join Matt Ryan as Pro Bowlers. Matt Ryan would have a 38-7 touchdown to interception ratio and 4,944 passing yards, winning the NFL MVP award. With all this offensive firepower, the 2016 Atlanta Falcons would have the best over season in NFL history with a 13-2-1 record. The Falcons would score 40 or more points 5 times during the regular season, and they would need every one of them. The 2016 Falcons defense was not on par with their offensive counterparts. Atlanta's defense would rank 27th in points per game, allowing 25. They would give up 30 or more points in 6 games this season. The young defense was just good enough to help the Falcons to an 11-5 straight-up record. With the high-scoring offense and the defense that was giving up points at will, the sportsbooks couldn't set the lines high enough. 6 times the total was 50 or more points, and the games were 6-0 to the over. The Falcons would continue their high-scoring ways into the playoffs, first besting the Legion of Boom Seahawks 36-20, then beating Aaron Rodgers and the Packers 44-21, making it all the way to the Super Bowl. Atlanta would get out to a 28-3 lead against Tom Brady and the Patriots before New England would make a dramatic comeback, winning 34-28 in the first ever Super Bowl decided in overtime. Even in defeat, the Falcons would go a perfect 3-0 to the over during the playoffs, bringing their season record to an astounding 16-2-1 to the over.